Hello, lovely subscribers. It's weird to be doing this already because it was like so recently. I literally just filmed my other one on Monday and today is Friday. Um, but I've got so much to talk to you about already. So if my voice goes a bit funny, it's because my beautiful family that I visited last weekend, my nephew managed to give me, well, my whole family possibly gave me a cold. So I am maybe a little bit gruff compared to normal. But let's have a talk about this beauty first, because this to me is a fabulous, cozy autumnal scent. This is Obsession Night. I love the bottle. I love the colour. I'm just checking to see how dark this is because I'm filming this and it's quite dark in my room and my iPad does not want to be very bright. I love this perfume so much. It's like a weird vanilla to me. This is like an unusual vanilla. I was just asking on my community tab which I should film first in terms of videos, and one of the options that I had an idea for is unusual vanillas, and this would have to be in here because this is floral, definitely. But the dry down of this is really beautifully sweet and vanillic. It's soft and it's pretty, and I just think it's gorgeous. So the notes are white flowers, bitter orange, angelica, bergamot and mandarin orange in the top. The middle are gardenia, jasmine, lily of the valley and rose. The base notes are cashmere wood, vanilla, sandalwood, tonka and amber. I get a lot of angelica from this. I get bitter orange. I get a general kind of bouquet of flowers, if that makes sense. There's a lot of cashmere wood, there's a lot of vanilla, and for me the tonka is what kind of balances this out to make it creamy and soothing and soft, rather than being, you know, a bit too aggressively vanillic, if you see what I mean, or too perfumey and vanillic. Now at first this one definitely reminds me a tiny bit of the smell of shaving foam, which I know doesn't sound very attractive, but this, honestly, this is a compliment getter. Even my husband has complimented me wearing this, and when I first got it, I don't know that he particularly noticed it or liked it, but the last time I wore it he did tell me I smelled really nice, and my friend Fern has told me twice I smell nice when I'm wearing this. So it's really pretty, really cozy. I mean, it has cashmere wood in it, and it kind of gives me a vibe of a cashmere sweater. You know how people say that. I don't own any cashmere. That's really expensive. But it's that feeling of a soft, comfy, enveloping scent. And it's not called Obsession Night because it's supposed to be some sexy evening out perfume. It's clearly supposed to be a comforting, nice, pretty perfume for like evening snuggling, bedtime. Oh dear, that sounds like eBay. I'm going to have to check it just in case it's something that I really want. Nah, that's all right. I got some good stuff on eBay though, guys. I can't wait to tell you about all the stuff I got on eBay recently. I've been lucky. So Obsession Night, I really love this. And I do kind of think it's the feminine version. If you know what Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male, the original, if you know what that smells like, and that is like a kind of shaving foam scent on a vanilla base. It's far more complex than that, but that's the kind of vibe it is. This reminds me of like a really feminine version of that. It's just, oh, I just think it's so beautiful. And I love that bottle. I just love that bottle. I don't know if everyone else feels the same about it, but it's such a good perfume. I love it. Let's see, what next? Talking of cozy and enveloping, you know I said she's going to be broken out all the time. This is Stash Unspoken by Sarah Jessica Parker. You will watch my dent throughout cold weather, getting deeper and deeper with this. Just on a few, I have to sort of put it in the dark because it's got a really shiny, it's not quite rose gold. It's kind of like a kind of cross between rose gold and bronze colour here, which I love. And it absolutely suits the kind of scent of this perfume. This particular one, this is an absolute staple for me in cooler weather because it's creamy and cozy, it's powdery, it's soft, it's very sweet. It's all of the things that are good in autumn and winter. So the notes here, top notes, quince and pink pepper, middle notes, honeysuckle, peony, wisteria, base notes, tonka bean, sandalwood, musk and olibanum. I mean, what to say about it? It's predominantly tonka and sandalwood, I would say, but it has that kind of slight citrusy fruitiness running through, especially when you first spray it. And for me, the honeysuckle is the dominant floral. I do love wisteria, and there is a bit of that, but I don't really get a huge amount of peony, thankfully, because I don't really like peony. And I had a breakthrough with this. So I'm going to talk about the next one next. You know what I mean. I'm going to talk about the next one, and then I can just kind of expand. So this here is from the Hotel Collection at Aldi, and it's number 39 Poppy and Barley Eau de Parfum. The Hotel Collection, as far as I can tell, are entirely dupes of Jo Malone perfumes. So they've got a quite an impressive range. I think from Aldi, these are like, what are they, like $7.99 or something for 100 ml. And they're eau de parfum and not eau de toilette. And I was very surprised at how tenacious this was. And it was very noticeable on my skin. So I mistakenly ordered this because I thought it was going to be a dupe of Scarlet Poppy. But it's not a dupe of Scarlet Poppy. It's a dupe of another perfume that I didn't even know existed by Jo Malone called Poppy and Barley. So I mean, they've literally just completely ripped it off in name and scent. So I can't get any notes for this one, but as it's a dupe, I will just read you the notes of the Jo Malone. Top notes of fig, violet and blackcurrant. Middle notes of wheat, powdery notes and poppy. Base notes barley, white musk and bran. This is kind of fascinating to me because it definitely does have a little hint of Scarlet Poppy. And I think Scarlet Poppy came out after this to be the gourmand version of this perfume, the kind of sweeter and more gourmand version of Poppy and Barley. And this, when you spray it, you get that little hint of Scarlet Poppy, and then you get this kind of slightly biscuity, wheaty scent very briefly, and then it dries down, and for me, it says Poppy, but I really think this smells like a rose perfume. I get rose from this, quite a traditional rose, a dry rose. I'd say like a dry pink rose is what this smells like to me. And then, so it's got like a sharpness, it's got a freshness, it's got that classic Jo Malone vibe of smelling like a kind of bright, uplifting cologne. And then it dries down and it definitely gets a bit sweeter in the very deep dry down. But interestingly, because this one's an eau de parfum, this, like, I only sprayed a little bit and it overpowered everything else that I was, like, near, what I was trying, what I'd been wearing earlier in the day. It massively overpowered everything and I could smell it right up until I went to bed. I forgot to check in the morning, but this lasted forever. For an £8 perfume, it's incredible. You can get these on eBay UK. Not eBay UK. Well, you can get them on eBay. You can get them on Amazon, is what I'm trying to say. But obviously, it's cheaper if you can go to Aldi. And they have this at Aldi at the moment. I've seen it on their online store. Because although they don't deliver groceries, they do deliver their marketplace stuff and booze. So if you want to put in like a booze order or something and chuck this in, I mean, you know, for coming up for Christmas, I don't really feel the need to keep this because it's a little bit too much of a floral scent for me, really. I just don't really wear these kind of perfumes, but I think it's pretty impressive for what it is. Like, I'm surprised. So what I will say, I'm going to just put that one there. What I realised, because I now have, I need to do a proper video on Scarlet Poppy, because I have now a sample of the Scarlet Poppy from the old bottle. So the one that was in the bright red bottle with the bright red lid. I also have a sample of the current bottle, which is it almost looks black, but I think it's a very, very dark red with, like, I think it's a silver cap now. They definitely don't smell the same. They are super similar, but they definitely don't smell the same. And I prefer the newer version. But when I was smelling them, and interestingly also, I saw my friend at the weekend when I saw my friend from home, And I gave her a hug and I was like, oh my God, what are you wearing? I know that perfume. And she said, I'm wearing Scarlet Poppy. And I was like, oh my God, you are wearing Scarlet Poppy. I recognise it. And something clicked in my brain. The reason I like it is because it kind of smells like Stash. It's not identical, but it really reminds me of Stash. It has that same kind of powdery, very sweet, really kind of enveloping, delicious, slightly kind of, I mean, I swear there's sandalwood in Scarlet Poppy, but it's really similar. It's got exactly the same tonka for sure. Whereas Scarlet Poppy, it smells more like a kind of, almost like a red berry mixed in there. Whereas this one is citrus. But they're really similar, and they're really a similar experience to wear. So yeah, I'm going to do a whole video and talk about it, because I also tried a dupe of Scarlet Poppy and I've got a whole load of stuff. But what I've kind of realised is I do not need Scarlet Poppy, because as much as I think it's a nice perfume, I have this beautiful bottle of Stash and I have backups of it, and I love this perfume and it's ridiculously cheap. Like literally you can get it for 100ml for like 12 quid, and it's incredibly beautiful. So there you go, that was that. What's next? Let's go for, this one's a bit of a beast, so let's do this next. I've got two of these to talk about. I've got a lot of new stuff to tell you about. Sorry, this one's going to be long. I bought two of these Eyfel perfumes from Makeup UK. Now these are super annoying because they don't say what they are on the box. If I take this out, so these are the bottles. They just have a number here. W means woman, and then the 56. That's how they number their bottles. Now then, I'll have to be careful with this. Oh no, I can tell from the colour, so that's good. I wonder if you can tell from what the colour of that is. So I've got two here. Oh, I much prefer the lid of this one. Ooh, interesting. I might have to swap these lids around, you know, depending on what I keep, obviously. But so these are intriguing. I'm going to read you the notes, and anyone who knows the classic and popular designer perfumes are going to know what these are, what they're dupes for, I should say. Okay, so you can't get notes. These aren't on Fragrantica, annoyingly. But this one, with this rather beautiful colour, which I'm not sure if it's picking up. It's a kind of pink amber colour. So top notes, magnolia, neroli, tangerine. Heart notes, coconut, frangipani, ylang ylang. Base notes, absolute vanilla, almond milk, and sandalwood. So that's that one. Ringing any bells? This one, number 56. Which one was that? That's 73. So I might put them like that so you can actually see the numbers. So 56, it says top notes, cardamom, ginger, pepper. Heart notes, coconut, gardenia, orange blossom and peony. Base notes, ambergris, musk and sandalwood. Any guesses? I'm not going to tell you to put it down below because I'm just going to start talking now, aren't I? But now then, Dolce Garden, that's what this first one is. So let's have a little sniff. And I'll tell you what, it's a good dupe. It's so much lighter. And therefore, to me, it's kind of easier to deal with because it's far less cloying. I had Dolce Garden for a little while. Oh, I just spray this out. Absolutely smells like Dolce Garden. Really impressive. So I had a bottle of this. It made me feel a bit sick. It was way too sickly and strong. It has something in it that is kind of powdery while also being very sweet. And it smells a bit like there's some kind of yogurt in it with very sugary florals. So I really was not keen, but my husband quite liked it. So I thought, right, I'm going to just try this out, partly because I wanted to talk to you guys about whether these were decent dupes or not, because I've not tried this house before. And I mean, to be honest, it really took a lot of time to look through and work out what everything was. And I have managed to find I found a website that had like some dodgy like photos taken of the kind of catalogue of these. So I could double check them, and I've looked, and it's got like a tobacco vanille that I'm quite interested in trying. But there's a few that I've got in my list, but they do get sold out really quickly, so they kind of go in and out of stock on makeup.uk quite a lot. But this one, as I said, it's lighter and therefore to me kind of easier and more approachable. But it really does smell quite a lot like Dolce Garden. It doesn't smell as thick because it isn't as thick. I mean, it's an eau de parfum, but it's definitely light. It doesn't last as long. But like I said, I found that perfume really cloying. So I am quite looking forward to trying this one out and seeing how I get on with it, because there were elements of Dolce Garden I liked, but there was just something about it that just made me feel a bit sick. It was just too sickly. So it might be that this is a bit like La Rive in that I will be able to wear it where the original would have been too strong. So things like Libre, I really like the La Rive dupe of Libre because it's lighter, easier to wear, it's not as strong, it's not as sweet, it's not as cloying to me, and this might be the same. So that's that one. Now this one is very interesting because this is Versace Crystal Noir, apparently. So I have Versace Crystal Noir, I have the current EDP, and I have a sample of what I assume to be the old EDT. So this is so fascinating because I don't know if this really in the opening smells anything like the old version, because I don't think the opening smells like the new version. I was sniffing it and being like, well, it does smell like cardamom, ginger and pepper. That's what it smells like, and peony. That's what I'm getting when I first spray this. It's really the notes that are listed. Whereas with the versions of, because I also had the modern EDT for a while and I sold that one because it was very similar to the modern EDP. But I liked the bottle better of the EDP and I liked the scent ever so slightly more. It was more bar soapy. This one is fresher and juicier and not as soapy. But then as it dries down, you start to get that kind of general profile of Versace Crystal Noir kind of shining through. It's way lighter, it's much thinner, it's nowhere near as dense as Crystal Noir, and now I'm interested because I'm like, okay, is this just not a very good dupe? And it doesn't really smell that much, like it only smells like Crystal Noir in the deep dry down? Or is this a really good dupe of what it used to smell like and I just haven't smelled the original Versace Crystal Noir? I don't know, because I know Paolo Bianco commented on one of my videos where I was talking about Crystal Noir, the version I had, and she said that the new version to her smells massively soapy in a way that the old didn't. So this one definitely doesn't have the same like strong bar soapy vibe. It's much more juicy. It almost smells a bit more fruity, if that makes sense. Yeah. It's way more gingery. I think it smells more spicy, less soapy, lighter, but it's really pretty. I mean, it's not necessarily one that I feel I need to keep in my collection just because I have Crystal Noir and I don't really need another perfume that is exactly the same kind of, well, not exactly the same, but in that same profile, because I really do love that perfume. This one definitely isn't as vanillic and sweet, but it has it's like a really sort of juicy version of that scent. So yeah, really interesting to try these out, but I think I'm going to keep hold of this guy and just see how I get on with that one, because as I said, my husband quite liked that and I did like elements of I just couldn't wear it. It's the same with all the Dolce shine. I feel like there's just something from in the house of Dolce in their perfumes that just doesn't work for me for some reason. All right, what else have we got? Oh yeah. Oh, I wore this one in the evening because it's Lush. Chill Out. This is from the Feel Good range by Oriflame. So I just wore Chill Out on a night where I wanted to be warm and snuggly, and the thing is with Chill Out is that it's basically another dupe of Guerlain. So it's this one only lists lavender, I think it's cedarwood and vanilla. Those are the only notes that they list. There definitely is a licoricey vibe to this one though, and it's got a really strong lavender. So I really like this one for the evening. I also like this one to just spray around my room as well. If I want something that's not, well, I know it is as sweet, I think, as what's it called, as Twilight, but it's just different. It's not quite the same, you know. So pretty though. This one is actually marketed as being unisex, which I think is absolutely right, and I think it's a pretty perfume, really nice. Should move this one in slightly because both of the ones I'm putting up here are a bit thin. Yeah, if you can get that one for cheaper, I think it's a really good perfume, and like I said, perfectly unisex. Now then, I'm excited about this, guys. Just got to find the notes. I got incredibly lucky on eBay. So if you guys buy stuff on eBay, obviously if you're buying designer stuff, you have to be careful. You've got to check, like you've got to make sure that they've got a photograph of the batch codes so you can check them. You've got to kind of make sure that the bottles look legit. I always check out the seller's other items as well to see what's there. If they've got loads of the same thing, I'm going to assume it's a dupe. If there's only like one and they have other designer art things and they're used and they've actually been used in some way, then I'm going to assume it's legit if the batch codes match up as well. But when sellers, and I know because I do this myself sometimes and I kick myself, I've done it recently, if you list your items and they finish on a weekday at like, you know, during the work day, you're not going to get as much money for them as if you have them like in the evening, and in the evening on like a Sunday, for instance. So I was so lucky that I managed to get some number 5 L'Eau from Chanel, a little 35ml bottle. I got this for under £30 because it ended at lunchtime on, I think, Monday. And the seller was super quick at postage, and it was first class, signed for. So I got to wear it this week. I tested this a couple of times before I started searching for it on eBay, and what a beauty this is. This is my only Chanel in my collection. It's my first Chanel I've ever actually bought. Now, if you do not like the original number 5, the chances are, or not that if you don't want to wear it, I mean, if you actually actively don't like it, if you're on the kind of soaky London side of things and you think it's incredibly outdated, you really don't like it, you don't understand why they advertise it, then you probably won't like this one either. But L'Eau is like the daughter of Chanel number 5. It's like an innocent, softer, sweeter, lighter, brighter version of the original. It comes in, it's got this like cool thing on the inside that's even shaped to the bottle. Lovely, classy box, as you'd expect from Chanel. The actual perfume, I'll read you the notes. So, top notes: aldehydes, lemon, neroli, mandarin orange, bergamot orange and lime. So very citrus heavy. Middle notes: ylang, jasmine, may rose. Base notes: white musk, orris root, cedar and vanilla. So there's something magical about this. I will say though, I'm being totally honest here, it is definitely not worth 70 something pounds. Not because it's not beautiful, because this is a beautiful, beautiful aldehydic citrusy musk. That's what I think this boils down to. I think it smells like an incredible sweet skin musk. There's that hint of vanilla. It's very bright and citrusy in the top, but it's never too sharp. And then it has the sharpness really comes from the aldehydes, but it's like a beautiful bubbly soapy, like an old school soapy scent, not like a shampoo. It's not kind of screechy and cheap smelling. It's a classic Chanel aldehyde, right? Now, the original number 5 is a chypre, right? So it's aldehydic, but it's a chypre. So you have that oak moss in the base. It's super intense. This is beautiful because it doesn't have the oak moss. It doesn't have that kind of woody, oak mossy base. It doesn't have the same punch to it. But it's someone described this on Fragrantica as being fragile. And I think that's a perfect description of it, because I was going to use the word delicate, but I'm not sure that even quite touches on what this is. I think fragile is a more accurate interpretation because it's light from the first spray. You would need to put quite a lot on. It's pretty much a skin scent, and it does not last very long. So that's what I mean. That's what I mean when it's not worth like £72 or however much this little bottle normally costs. If you can get this for 30, 100% it's worth it. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous musky skin scent, and I love a musky skin scent. But yeah, I mean, unless you're buying it because it's Chanel rather than like, I mean, like I said, I'm nearly 42. I've never had a Chanel before because I don't feel the need to buy things because of the brand. I bought this because when I tested it, I was like, oh my God, I can absolutely understand why the YouTubers that I've seen talking about this one, I can understand why they really love this. It's classy, it's clean, it's fresh, it's quite young, but it's also classically chic, you know? I mean, that's Chanel, right? I mean, classically chic. But it's like a really modern interpretation of number 5, which is really fun. Now, I am fully intending to do a video of my favourite musks, because I would say there are a few different things that I've tested loads of things that I have, even stuff I'm getting rid of, and I haven't found anything that smells exactly like this. I don't think I've ever seen any dupes of this. But I do have some things that are in the same kind of area. I've got quite a lot of musky perfumes that do have that kind of citrus, aldehydes, lovely skin musk, you know. I've got a few of those, so I will make a proper video. But yeah, this is really pretty, but the longevity is pretty bad. I would say this is definitely going to be better in warmer weather, because I tested it the first time in warmer weather, and it lasted longer. And then the next time I tested it, it was a bit more fleeting, but then it was already getting cold, and now it's actually quite chilly in London. So I can see that this will be one, you know, for warmer weather, it's going to work better. But anyway, I was super excited. I got it for like 28 quid. I can't believe it. All right. Oh my God, how long have I been talking for? Already nearly half an hour. So I also bought this recently. I spent more on this perfume than I did on this Chanel. This cost me £40. But I did have to get this from America, to be fair. So this is Fresh Cream by Philosophy. I did mention that I'd got the perfume because I wanted to compare. So I do love it. I'm definitely keeping it. But I'm not sure that this is a huge amount stronger than the body spritz. Like, I don't think it's such a big difference that it's worth spending 40 quid on compared to the body spritz that I have that you can get for like 15, 20 in the UK. So I got this from Fragrance X, and if you spend a certain amount of money, they will ship for free, and they're pretty quick from the US. So the fresh cream notes are listed as whipped cream, milk, powdery notes, sweet notes, and floral notes. Talked about it loads. I kind of think it smells like breast milk, because I think it smells like a super intensely creamy and sweet milky scent with a huge amount of sweetness and quite a bit of vanilla. But then it also has this kind of natural skin smell to it as well. I love it. It's definitely not going to be for everyone. I have to tell you now, I'm hoping that it turns up in one piece. But last week, if you remember, I was saying I just really want to try the cashmere version of Fresh Cream. And it's like the cosmos heard me. I made my wish, and someone put one up for sale on eBay. I made an offer. They accepted. It's on its way to me. So next week, chances are you're going to see Fresh Cream, Warm Cashmere, which means I will have all three, because I've got the soft suede one, and I do like that one. I really love the original Fresh Cream. Really looking forward to trying cashmere version. So I will let you know how that goes when it arrives. I mean, this is what I'm saying. I've had some incredible luck. And again, it's mad because I offered 30 quid, I think, for the cashmere, which again is more than I paid for this Chanel, which is mad. But again, it's because this one was a in the middle of the day type one and a work day. Oh gosh, right, what's next? Before I have another coughing fit. We had a really cold day and I was very excited to wear this one because I can only wear this in super cold weather. This is a Lolita Lempicka. This is Mon Petit. So this has a lot of the DNA of the original Lolita Lempicka. It's such a big bottle. Look at that. A big chunky bottle. And then you can see, because there's so much sweetness in this, there's so much vanilla, it's really changed colour quite a lot. So let's position these again so you can see them with a bit of the number. This is a beauty, a delicious, delicious beauty. It's very sweet and syrupy, which is why I can't wear it just any old time of the year. Lolita Lempicka Le Parfum, the original one, I can wear that in much warmer weather without feeling kind of a bit queasy because it's definitely not as sweet as this one. This one is, for me, a cold autumn and winter perfume. Notes in Mon Premier: cherry, star anise and ivy in the top. Middle notes are licorice, violet, orris and amaryllis. Base notes are praline, vanilla, tonka, musk and vetiver. So very similar notes to the original one, but this has way more of the cherry. It's got less of the licorice. It's still got licorice, you can still sense it, but it's way less. Way more of the praline, more of the vanilla and more of the tonka. So it's way sweeter, more syrupy and a bit more fruity. There's way less of the musk. So the original is, to me, an incredibly sexy and alluring musk, along with that kind of beautiful, subtle violet and cherry. This one, it's way less musky. It's more kind of youthful, girly. It's incredibly sweet. It's gorgeous. Really enjoy wearing it. I was really happy to wear it again. Right, so I said I bought a patchouli perfume. Now, I may have been kind of indoctrinated into loving this because I have had the shower gel of this for a very, very long time. And every time I use a shower gel, I think to myself, maybe I should just try the perfume. And because we went, I nearly said flew out, we got the train from Paddington, there is a Lush there. So I went into Lush and I used the tester and I sprayed Lord of Misrule onto my arm. Look at the colour of that. This note-wise could not look like less of my kind of perfume. The notes are listed only as patchouli, vanilla and black pepper. Now, I'm not mad for peppery perfumes, but I mean, really, I don't like pink pepper very much. I much prefer black pepper in perfumes. I'm very fussy about vanilla and I do not like patchouli. So the fact that I absolutely love this is really weird, but this is another incredibly unusual vanilla. It is incredibly warm and comforting. It's so good for this time of year. It's brilliant. Absolutely scrumptious. Oh my goodness. So, like I said, I really love the shower gel. I use it loads and I always kind of thought it smelled really herbaceous and almost minty. And I have that with a few other perfumes that have patchouli in. There's something about them that smells almost minty to me. They're still a bit earthy, but they're not dirty, they're not muddy or funky. They're like bright and herbaceous. And that's what I get here. Even more so in the actual shower gel, it really smells like there's mint in it to me, weirdly. But this one, it's deep. And it's really sweet. I'm fairly sure there's probably like tonka bean in this along with other things that just make it even more kind of creamy. And again, it's not like a perfumey vanilla. And the vanilla is, although I would describe this as it's almost like a green vanilla. It's a green warm vanilla. It's not a vanilla perfume in like the classic sense. That's not the strongest thing about it. but when it dries down, that's the warmth you're getting. That's the beautiful kind of coziness is coming from that. I'm pretty sure tonka and vanilla. And then, of course, the warmth, the actual heat and the spice from the black pepper is so perfect for this time of year. But yeah, I mean, I loved this, and I wore it and I loved it, and I already can't wait to wear it again. There's just something about the natural kind of, like I said, leafy, herby, earthy smell from this particular patchouli, because I still can't wear, and every time I try it, I just can't get on with it. I still can't wear Karma from Lush, even though I love the smell of that, and I love the shower gel, I love the hand soap. I can't wear that perfume. There's something about that kind of hippie patchouli in there mixed with the, and I was thinking about this, I was like, maybe for me, I don't get on very well with patchouli normally because it's either with a lot of flowers or a lot of fruit. This doesn't have that, you know. There's definitely some compounds in this perfume. I mean, if we look at the back, I'm sure they've got like geraniol in it, because that's in like all perfumes. It's got coumarin, yeah. Oh my goodness, yeah, a geraniol always. There's always geraniol. So that's one that's like rosy geranium, but I can't imagine there's a lot in here. It's just, oh, anise, yeah, it's so lovely. What a beautiful perfume. I feel like, I'm not sure if it's because I've changed. It's probably that's what it is. And I've just been scared off because of the patchouli, but I cannot tell you how much I'm enjoying this. I think it's so worth having. I think if you like warm vanillas, it's warm and green. It's making me kind of want to smell that. I've wanted to smell it for ages, and I refuse to blind buy it because it's got heliotrope in it, and heliotrope and vanilla, if it's a bit almondy, I often don't get on with. But I really want to try. It's called Lolita Le Parfum, and that's the, like, everyone says it's like a vanilla perfume, but it has a bay note in it, a bay leaf note. So I'm really fascinated by that one. I'd really like to smell that, but I can't get a sample, so I'd have to blind buy it, and I'm trying not to do that. But yeah, I mean, it's gorgeous. I can see that I'm going to wear it quite a lot. I can already get a sense of that. So last but not least, I wanted to test this one out. Let me find the notes for it. I think this has got a relatively straightforward note structure. This is from And Perfumes by Simon Constantine, and this is Bean. So Bean is the one that I originally thought I was going to really enjoy. I mean, I've actually worn this in the evening, but I've barely made a dent in it, as you can see. These are eau de parfums. So Bean is his lavender and tonka perfume. So I was quite excited about it, and I thought it might really work for me. But when I first tested it, I was like, nah, it's so much fennel in it. It's just so strong in the fennel that I just don't think this is one that's going to work for me. But it was much warmer when I got that sample set, so I did say I was going to be slowly but surely trying them out, and now I have a subscription to that house. I'm working out which ones I want to get the 10ml bottles of as part of that subscription. So Bean is orange and neroli in the top, middle notes of fennel and lavender, and the base note tonka bean. Now, 100% this was much nicer in cold weather, much nicer. I do still think there's way more fennel in there than anything else, and I think that is a real shame, because to me it's too much. It makes it too medicinal to me. It's like a bit weird. And like weird in a way that I don't particularly love. And it's kind of smells medicinal and like actual literal fennel for a long time. It kind of smells like an aniseed ball for quite a long time before you get that deep dry down. And in the deep dry down, I think what I originally said, there's like a slight, very bitter, dry, dark chocolate with orange. It's almost like if you got like a Terry's chocolate orange, but it was like not desiccated, but you know, when it's kind of like dried out and crumbled up, you know, if you imagine that, just a little bit of lavender, nowhere as near as much as I'd like, and then a lot of tonka. But the fennel is just really overpowering. So I mean, I really enjoy the very, very deep dry down, but that doesn't last for very long compared to what the actual perfume really is. So, and I don't really want to go through the like hour it takes to get there. So, this is not one that I'm going to get a bigger bottle of, but it's definitely so much better in cold weather, and it is an interesting perfume. And I think this could be, like, for some people, a really amazing, lovely autumn winter perfume. It's just not really my scene because I don't like fennel enough, you know. So, oh yeah, there was one last thing. I'll just mention this quickly. I've talked about this before. This is Lacoste Eau Sensuelle. So I just tried this little sample out again. This is Eau de Lacoste Sensual, that's what it's called. I've tried this one before and I thought it was really nice, but this is discontinued, and I was like, am I actually going to look for a bottle? I saw a bottle on eBay the other day that was relatively affordable, so I gave it another try just to see whether I thought it was worth having, and the answer is I don't particularly think it's worth having. It's all right. It's, if you see it for super cheap, then I think it's really pretty, because the notes in this are top notes blackcurrant, pink pepper, middle notes sweet pea, gladioli and Turkish rose, base notes nougat and amber. So this time in the colder weather I definitely got more of the nuts coming through from the nougat, and the nougat is sweet. That's relatively interesting, but the rest of the perfume not massively interesting. It's very strong in the amber. It's quite peppery, and like I said, I'm not mad for pink pepper. And there are some florals. The blackcurrant's juicy. It's actually a lovely perfume, but I don't think it's lovely enough to warrant spending what Lord of Misrule or this Chanel bottle costs me. I don't think I'll wear it as much. You know, I've got other beautiful autumn winter perfumes to be wearing. So, yeah, I mean, again, I'll keep hold of this. Every now and again I might wear it. But yeah, it's not my fave, so I decided not to buy the bottle. But it is pretty. And the nougat is an interesting note, like I said. There you go. That was my week, and it was super exciting because I've got some delicious new things and some really fun dupes to try. I will see what the vote is, and then my next video that I actually film will be dependent on what everyone's chosen on my community tab. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any of these. Definitely shout off in the comments about Lord of Misrule if you've got it, if you love it, and if you like patchouli normally, and if for some reason you like me, you just like Lord of Misrule and it's pretty much the only patchouli dominant perfume that you've ever bought or ever liked or enjoyed wearing, because it's so random. And if you've got any more of these Eyfel perfumes, then let me know which ones you've got and what they're dupes of. Yeah, so a beautiful week, a lovely couple of weeks. I'm getting closer towards Christmas and I cannot wait. I just can't wait. But yeah, you guys are wonderful. Thank you so much to my subscribers who come back every week. If you haven't subscribed to me yet, please subscribe to me, because it really makes a difference. Oh dear, my phone's ringing, so I'm gonna have to go, guys. Bye.